Today we're going to be looking at a new set of test terms for our weekly vocabulary. We'll have 10 new terms and definitions. Let's go ahead and begin. Those 10 words are as follows. Term number 1 is fact. Term number 2, explanation. Term 3, indicate. 4, characterize. 5, summarize. 6, contradict. 7, analyze. 8, purpose. 9, focus. 10, central. Now that we know our words and how to pronounce them, let's go ahead and begin looking at those individual terms and definitions, starting with a word that is extremely important for any test you'll be taking. That word is fact. A fact is a piece of information about events that have occurred. A fact is a piece of information about something that actually took place. Facts can be used to support a theory about something in the world as a type of evidence. You'll see the word fact paired up with opinion a lot. The fact is something that is irrefutable. It can't be proven wrong. An opinion is going to be something that we'll look at more later, but it's something that someone believes. It's not necessarily something that can always be proven true. Your fact may need an explanation to back it up. An explanation is making something understandable. It's making something more digestible for the audience so that it's easier to understand. An explanation seeks to take an idea and make it easier to understand. An explanation can start with things you know your reader understands and relate those ideas to the difficult ones you were trying to explain. If you're trying to explain to somebody how to get to a local post office, you're not just going to say, okay, drive to the post office, good luck, have a great trip. You're going to give them step-by-step directions to take this street and this street, or see this landmark as you go, or give them an address that they can use to look up on their GPS. You're going to give some type of explanation to make it easier or more understandable for them on how to get to that destination. Term number 3 that may appear on tests is indicate. If you're being asked to indicate something, you're being asked to give evidence of something or to point something out. To indicate is to give a sign of something occurring. Large, dark clouds can indicate that a rainstorm is going to start soon. Images of dark, threatening clouds in a barren landscape in a work of fiction may indicate or tell us that the author is trying to create a threatening or an eerie mood or atmosphere for their work. Words related to indicate include signify, mean, and imply, which are other good vocabulary words to know. Just know that indicate means that you're trying to point something out, you're trying to give some kind of sign that something will happen or give evidence of something that will happen. You may have seen term number 4, characterize, when discussing characters in a book and how the author may characterize somebody with this type of quality or show that they're this type of character through this element of characterization. We're going to kind of broaden that a little bit. To characterize is to describe or portray the qualities or peculiarities of something. Even though you can see the word character inside characterize, this verb does not just apply to how an author describes or builds a fictional character. A writer could technically characterize anything. One writer might characterize a theory as outdated, while another might characterize her childhood as happy and free. What you're doing when you use the word characterize is just describing something or showing how something is or was or how it could be. This includes characters in a story, but think about it as something that could look at anything. Be asked to do term number 5 pretty much constantly in all levels of school. To summarize something is to briefly present the main points of something. To summarize is to briefly retell something without interpreting it, meaning you're not giving your own opinion. If you're asked to identify the statement that best summarizes a passage, choose the one that captures the main idea of that passage without adding personal opinions or irrelevant details. When you're summarizing a longer thing, like an article that you read, you're just telling me piece by piece what are the important or the main points or the main idea of this article. You're not telling me that you loved this article or that you thought this article was stupid. You're just summarizing what's important. Number 6 is contradict. To contradict something is to be in opposition to something. In Latin, contra means against. So think of that when you see the word contradict. Think of the word against. To contradict means to go against or oppose another opinion. If one passage that you read contradicts the next one that you read, then they offer opposing points of view. One of those points of view goes against or contradicts the one you read before. You'll also be asked to do term number 7, analyze stuff, extremely frequently. Particularly when you're reading something longer, you'll be asked to analyze its meaning or to break it down into components or essential features. When you're asked to analyze a reading passage, you're doing more than just trying to figure out what it is saying on the surface level. Analyzing requires figuring out how the different parts of the passage relate to its overall message and how the passage might affect a reader or how it might get its point across to the reader. Think of analyze as sort of a deeper way of looking at something. This is more than just surface level reading or skimming something. You're diving deep. You're taking apart individual bits and pieces of something. When you're being asked to analyze, you're being asked to go a step further. So remember that. Term number 8 is purpose. It is an anticipated outcome that guides your planned actions. What is your purpose in doing something? The word purpose shows up often on standardized tests and just tests in general. When you're being asked about purpose, you are trying to get inside a writer's head. Think of the term author's purpose. When you're trying to do this, you're trying to figure out why he or she made certain decisions during the writing process. You're sometimes asked to identify a reader's passage's overall purpose, or you could also be asked about the purpose of a single paragraph, or why an author or a writer chose this word. What was their purpose in using the term blank in this article instead of something else? Purpose is analyzing or looking at why something was done. Focus, term number 9, is when a special emphasis is attached to something. Think of a magnifying glass enlarging an image. That's what a writer does for a reader when he or she focuses on a particular idea. That idea takes on particular importance. You may see focus paired up with some other words we've looked at. You may be asked to focus on a paragraph and analyze a specific detail in that. You may be asked to focus on the opinion that an author presents in their argumentative essay. Term number 10 is central. You'll see central frequently in things like central idea as an example. Central means serving as an essential component. On tests, you'll most likely see the word central before the word claim or the word idea. Central in this context means main. If you are asked to identify an argument's central claim, then you're trying to figure out the main point or the main idea the writer is trying to get across. And with that, we've hit our 10 vocabulary terms for this week. Go back and review these terms as needed. Make sure that you internalize what you need to know about them for tests. And thank you.